back to my channel. My name is Betty. If you're new here, thank you for being here. Today's video is going to be apartment hunting in Brisbane. I made one a couple months ago and it was really helpful, so I thought I'd make another one. This time it's apartments that are $400 and under. I went and saw about 4 or 5 places, I think 5 places around the inner city suburbs, and I was pleasantly surprised by the amount of space you were able to get for this price point. It was actually more than what you would get around the $450 mark, which is what the previous video had. If you're looking for apartments that are around the $300 mark, often it's better to go for a 2-bedroom and share that space, because 2 bedrooms typically go for $600, and even though you're sharing a space with someone else, you still get modern amenities, and the apartments are like fairly new and they're just nicer. So that is something to keep in mind. Our first apartment is in Highgate Hill and it's going for $300 a week. It was located in this big brick building. It had several levels. The current tenants were moving out, so there was stuff everywhere, but it was a really great sized bedroom, and it had a little ensuite that led on to the bedroom. But not a lot of light coming through, which personally is important to me. The bedroom didn't have too much storage, so if you were moving in as a couple, it might be a bit difficult and you would have to outsource some extra storage. The kitchen overlooked the lounge room and the appliances were a little outdated, but for this price point I would say that it's very reasonable. It was a little bit difficult to film because there's other people in there, and the tenant also had all their boxes and stuff, but I think for $300 a week this was definitely worth the price. The property also had a little balcony. It was a little bit too close to the other apartments. You could quite easily look into other people's spaces. It's very close to a lot of hospitals and schools and South Bank, and access to the main road to get into the city. The next apartment was in Kangaroo Point and it was going for $340 a week, and the water was also included in the bill. For this property you were mainly paying for the location, as there wasn't much space. It was actually a studio. It did come furnished. It came with the bed and the TV and the couch and all the kitchen appliances, and I quite liked the location of the kitchen. It had its own little nook, which is really great because it kind of gives you a sense that you're not living in like a shoebox. It had a lot of storage spaces, so you could keep a lot of other items in there. The bed also had storage underneath. I'm not too sure about the couch. One thing I didn't like about this property was that it was carpeted throughout except for the bathroom and the kitchen, which I know it can be cozy in the winter time, but in the summertime that is the last thing that you want. An amazing feature of this property was the expansive window. It virtually took up the whole wall of the bedroom slash living room slash just the whole studio, and it looked out onto the main road, so either it would be really shit because the sun would come in, or it would be really nice because you can get a lot of light. It had a really large shower and a washing machine that it came with. A really good thing about this property was that it came with a car park as well. I was quite surprised by how nice all the furniture was in this property. Sometimes when you get furnished places, everything's a little bit worse for wear, but everything was fairly brand new, so all you have to do is just move your clothes on in. The location of this property was honestly prime. It's right across the road from Kangaroo Point Cliffs, so you could go for a run at the cliffs, and there's also a cafe there, and it's literally right by the water. A walk along to South Bank, and there's a lot of hospitals and restaurants and bars that you could like walk to as well. The next apartment was going for $335 a week, and it was a 2-bed, 1-bath, 1-car, and it was located on the ground floor of like an old Queenslander. It had these beautiful timber floors throughout and all these finishings on the ceilings, which were just gorgeous. The bathroom was huge. It was like huge huge, as it was tiled and had these really nice bronze colored mirrors throughout, and even like on the shower. And then just as you come out of the bathroom, there was like a designated laundry area, except it wasn't like a laundry area. You would have to like bring your own washing machine in and then do all the like connecting and the fixtures and stuff yourself. And it was kind of like in an awkward spot between the kitchen and the bathroom, but you know what, for the price point, for the number of bedrooms you're getting, it's pretty good. And the kitchen itself, it kind of was lacking. There was really just one little section that was like set on the back wall. I had a stove and a couple like storage cupboards, and there wasn't really like a designated fridge space, but the living area was huge. So if there were some PowerPoints around, I'm sure you could very easily just move a fridge in. The first bedroom was fairly large. It had some inbuilt storage, and again it had this beautiful crowning on the ceiling. Probably not too much space for clothing if you're moving as a couple, but you could always sort that out later. The second bedroom was a bit smaller. I'd probably use it as a study or a child's room. So with the property, you'd be renting the lower half, and there'd be people or other tenants above you, and you would share the backyard and sort of like the deck space and like the carport. Windsor is a really good suburb. It's very inner city, yet still in the suburbs. You can kind of keep your peace and quiet and still be like in a relatively close location to all the buzz. A short walk from this property was like a really nice park. There was also like a tennis court, a soccer field, and a school, and a couple of cafes as well. The next apartment was going for $400 a week, and it was located in West End. It was a studio style, so it was mainly just like a bedroom or bed/living area and a bathroom. There was no car space, and the photos that were advertised kind of made it look a lot bigger than it was, because when I walked in I was like, oh my god, this is tiny. It had these beautiful floor-to-ceiling windows which overlooked this wall of plants, which honestly would just relax me so much. It was quite modern. It had a little kitchenette, so there was like a stove top and like a mini quarter-size fridge, which isn't ideal because you'd constantly be having to buy groceries, but for the location, it is a really good apartment, especially if you're a student. The bathroom was very modern, had really nice finishings, was quite nice. The only turn off would just be the space in this place, because it was honestly very small. The bedroom was sort of like a living room, because the inbuilt storage mirrors were like right there, like in the same space that you would be like studying and sleeping, which was not ideal. Also, I had a reception, so security wise it is a really safe place to be in. It did come with a dryer, but you would have to purchase your own washing machine, and the water bill was split between you and the next apartment because they only had 1 meter for it. It also had a gym and a sauna and a rooftop pool and like a little garden and a cinema room. And it was also a short walk to some restaurants and bars, and these are like some really like nice places. There's also markets, and the river's also close by, so you were sort of paying for the property as opposed to, again, the space. The final apartment is in a new farm. It was going for $370, but then they did reduce it to $350, and it was this old cottage style house that had been converted into 6 like individual apartments. As you walk up to the property, your next door neighbor's like literally right there. You share a common entryway. What I really loved about this property was the amount of space that you got for your living room and bedroom. It was honestly huge, and it had timber floors throughout the whole place. The kitchen was very outdated. It really wasn't a designated kitchen space. They just kind of, I think it must have been like a bathroom before, because the check tiles really didn't go with the rest of the space. But it had a little bench area and a little sink area, and you would have to bring in a lot of your own stuff to make it feel like a kitchen. This place did have a shared laundry. The bathroom had a good sized shower and all the essentials, i.e. the toilet and the sink. Location was honestly prime. It was super close to the valley and Howard Smith Wharf and the ferry, and there was a cafe. So that's all the apartments I've got for you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. See you in the next one.